If you take a chocolate cake and smash it hard against someone's head, which do you think would shatter, the cake or the person's skull? Most people would pick the first option. Yet in this episode, the killer used a chocolate cake to easily crack the victim's skull. Not long before that, Conan and Ran, invited by Sonoko, came to a popular internet-famous dessert shop to try its highly rated sweets. But just as Sonoko was about to dig in, a scream suddenly rang out in the shop. Sensing trouble, Conan rushed toward the sound. When he reached the scene, he found that the owner, Sachiko, was already on the floor, bleeding from the head. The police arrived soon after. According to the initial on-site investigation, that only pastry chef Yumi was inside the shop at the time. As for Yasuo, the pastry chef, during the time of the incident, he was decorating a cake Yumi had made, then quickly served it to Conan's group. And when he brought out the order, he clearly saw Sachiko at the front counter, checking accounts. Then there was head chef Maeda. He claimed he received a call from the office at 12:25, and immediately went there. That puzzled Inspector Magyar, who asked how Maeda could remember the time so precisely. Maeda replied that as a proper pastry chef, checking the time frequently is only natural. After hearing this, Magyar fixed his suspicions on Yumi. He believed that once they found the murder weapon, they would be able to arrest her. He immediately ordered a search of the entire restaurant. Seeing things turn against her, Yumi quickly argued that both Yasuo and Maeda often argued with Sachiko. First, Maeda had recently borrowed a large sum from her, and lately, Yasuo had been clashing with Sachiko over going independent. At that, Yasuo immediately flared up. He knew full well that Yumi was usually defiant, and whenever Sachiko offered advice, Yumi would argue back. Listening to both of them, Conan felt Yumi looked the most suspicious, but declaring her the killer at this point would be unreasonable. Each chef worked in a separate station, so no one outside could see Yumi, and Yumi couldn't see outside either. That meant Yasuo and Maeda, though not in her area, were also highly suspicious. As Conan was thinking, he suddenly noticed that in one workstation, there were many wooden cake models, but on one of the trays, there were real wood shavings. Meanwhile, after 2.5 hours of searching, the police still couldn't find the murder weapon. Hearing that, Sonoko quickly suggested that maybe the weapon was the cake itself, but Maeda disagreed. If the killer had really used a cake, the only way to dispose of it would be to eat it. But who would eat a bloodstained cake? And besides, to kill with a cake, the ingredients would have to be hard enough. As soon as he finished speaking, Yasuo added that although chocolate can be hard, once force is applied, it breaks easily. Everything Yasuo said implied that Yumi's confection was the murder weapon. Faced with this sudden accusation, Yumi immediately lost her composure. At that point, Shiba raised a question. One person couldn't possibly eat a piece of candy large enough to injure someone. Hearing this, Sonoko at once said the culprit could heat the candy afterward, making the weapon easy to destroy. That theory made the already panicked Yumi even more terrified. Before she could explain, Magyar ordered the microwave to be examined. Watching this unfold, Conan was convinced Yumi was unlikely to be the culprit. Earlier, Yumi had said she loved confectionery as an art. With that in mind, Conan ran to the kitchen next to Yumi's. The moment he entered, he saw it was a complete mess, and beside a cabinet door, there were also wood shavings. Seeing this, Conan immediately understood everything. He hurried back to the others, and promptly put Sonoko to sleep with a tranquilizer dart. In fact, the person who committed the crime